It's Two Dudes with Attitudes, a wrestling podcast with your boy Ryan Enjoys Wrestling and MWO. And this is our WWE edition where we're going to talk all things Saturday night's main event, Battleground, RAW, NXT, Trick NA. And we're even going to do our segment and we're going to do our LVD MVD. Ryan, we even got news. We got to get this show on the road. You ready, my man?
Yeah, it was an exhausting weekend, and I haven't recovered from it. So it's been a lot of wrestling. 7 straight days of professional wrestling, to be exact. So we gotta get the show on the road. So let's do it.
Two dudes with attitudes, let's go. It's the two dudes and the attitudes, ruthless, aggressively speaking. So let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. The 5-star broadcast, shit, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all E, the two dudes with the attitudes that bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on, time to lock in. Listen to the podcast where they get it poppin'.
All right, like we said, it was a busy weekend from a jam-packed SmackDown that we're not going to talk about to Saturday night's main event, to Battleground, to Double or Nothing, back to Monday Night Raw, into NXT. Now tonight we have the follow-up of Dynamite. It's just all in. If you're watching TNA, you got that Thursday, then SmackDown on Friday. It is nonstop. It was exhausting, but I thought it was pretty damn good. I thought it was a pretty good night. It started off really rough, and we'll get into that, but it faded in nice and easy. But let's start with that news, man. We got to get this show going, Ryan. And what is the Two Dudes Reads the News for today?
Yeah, so the news that broke the internet last week, right before all of the pay-per-view events and everything, was WrestleMania 42 which was announced by The Rock live on SmackDown the same time that he wanted to steal Cody Rhodes' soul. They did it. They unveiled the logo. They did everything. That WrestleMania 42 is going to be in New Orleans. But as of last Friday, that is no longer the case. WrestleMania 42 is no longer going to be in New Orleans. They are getting Money in the Bank instead in 2026. Which that feels like a huge downgrade compared to a WrestleMania, but also the schedule. The schedule is very, very strange too, because Triple H came out on his X account and did it was a very awkward video, but he did a video and he said that Money in the Bank is coming to the Big Easy and it's going to be on August the 26th, which is 18 days, I believe, after SummerSlam of 2026. So normally it's the June pay-per-view. We're getting ready for it here in a couple of weeks. And now it's going to be in August after SummerSlam. So it makes me wonder, like, what are they doing next June? What are they doing next July to prepare for Money in the Bank and SummerSlam? So feels very, very strange. But this news just took off. People were outraged at the fact that WrestleMania is no longer going to be in New Orleans. Rumors are running rampant that it's going to go back to Las Vegas again, even though they didn't really sell all the tickets and the arena had a lot of seats for sale. Apparently they made a lot of money with the after shows and the after parties and the roast of WrestleMania. And now there's even reports and rumors that WWE is looking at making Las Vegas kind of the primary hub for WWE events, which means no more WrestleManias anywhere else but Las Vegas, which, I don't understand why people care so much about the location of WrestleMania. I don't understand why it became this hot button news of this is why TKO is killing the WWE. I mean, we've been saying that from the very beginning, but I don't understand why this news is what outraged everybody. I understand it from a standpoint of, like wrestling conventions and a lot of indie wrestling. They kind of cater their biggest shows around the WrestleMania weekend when there's 100,000 people there. They can kind of capitalize on that, and they have to book venues themselves. So they may have already had New Orleans booked, and now they have to find a new venue, and they haven't announced A, the dates, or B, the location of WrestleMania 42 now. So really, really interesting times. But this news just really took off and kind of became a huge thing all over social media.
Yeah, that's my favorite part about it, right? Is that these like fans, and I'm doing quotes, are like so distraught about the city of New Orleans. Like and the people in New Orleans and the people that booked an airplane ticket that I guess it's impossible to get a refund of, or a hotel they might have booked that they can never get one, or the independent show bookers who could easily just cancel the booking and then rebook on WrestleMania weekend because what else is going to be available during that weekend anyway, even if they named it 3 days beforehand. I just find it pretty hilarious that people pretend like they care so damn much all the freaking time. Look, there were some people in my comments I posted about it who made some good points of the fact that, like, oh, being in one location sucks because I want to go to WrestleMania. I don't always want to have to fly to Vegas to go do it. I don't like Vegas. I'd like to closer to me. I fully get that, and that makes sense. Thank you for being honest, right? But here's the thing. Who said WWE was doing this? And that's my biggest this is why I hate the whole community I'm in, because I'm in this community and I'm somebody who does, but it just drives me nuts that they all want to be Dave Meltzer. That's like their goal. No one just does this for the love or to give opinions or to give views. They do it to try to be like a news source where Joe Schmo on the internet said, oh, it's going to be in Vegas every year. You know, the next day they said it was going to be in Saudi Arabia and it was no longer going to be there every year. We get a new, just let things cook, right? Remember when WWE was bought by Saudi Arabia and the whole world, we had lives where people were crying and this and that. Why are they doing this? And it wasn't even true. It was Dave Meltzer or whoever or Sean Ross Sapp who just talks out of their butt like Ace Ventura. I don't get, let's just see what happens, right? Obviously, we don't know what happened with New Orleans. Maybe New Orleans was like, hey, we don't want it anymore. Can we go out? Maybe WWE and New Orleans had an agreement and they backed out on it. You don't know what happened. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or maybe TKO is an evil, greedy company and some other company was like, no, this city wants it more. Whatever, right? It is what it is. So who knows? But why go into speculation? All we know is that it's not New Orleans anymore. It's moving on. Money in the Bank. I have no idea why it's going to August, but maybe there's a reason. And that Triple H did look like he had zero say in any of it. I'm just going off of facial reactions because usually he's over the top. He looked pretty much like, oh gosh, I gotta like there was a gun on the other side of the camera.
It was a very
talk or else. Yeah,
it was like I've said this before, but like on the build up to WrestleMania, but it was like Tony Khan and Triple H switched bodies for that video because he looked very uncomfortable. He looked very awkward. He looked like he didn't want to do it. He even ended it with his catchphrase, "Are you ready?" But he was just like, he half-assed it. He was like, I guess I have one question. Are you ready? It was just very, very strange and weird. It was not the normal Triple H, who's a very big showman. So, yeah. I don't understand why people are complaining about it. I really people were complaining about the tickets to WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas. Then they were complaining about the price of tickets probably for New Orleans, and now they're going to go back to complaining about the price of tickets for Las Vegas again. So it doesn't make any sense. I don't get it. Let's just see what happens and see what they do. But we'll figure it out, and we'll be watching along the way.
Last thing is that Rock promo now was 100% pointless. He did two things that night. One, it's in New Orleans. Two, I'm going to take Cody's soul. Neither of those things happen or exist anymore. So thanks a lot, Rock, for showing up that night.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
Yeah.
And everyone's saying it's The Rock's fault, right? Maybe The Rock doesn't have as much say as people think, huh?
He might. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
It's very, very strange. Very strange. But I don't understand the outrage regarding the movement of WrestleMania 42. But more to come. We'll probably hopefully we'll get an official date here soon. Maybe they're moving it to July, and that's filling in the Money in the Bank slot. Who knows? We don't know. But
maybe. Whatever. It is what it is. I here's the thing. I'm going to watch it either way. So why do 100%. People complain about everything, right? All right, let's get into it. We got Saturday night's main event. I want to start off by saying that I almost hit you up and said we should not even do a thumbs up and thumbs down. I almost then decided, I'll just thumbs down all of them. And then I decided God, it's not the wrestlers' faults that this. I want to say, if you did not tune in, and I'm assuming you did, if you listen to our podcast, you must be somewhat of a wrestling fan. If you're going to find us two little nobodies and listen to our opinions on it, you have to watch it. But this was just I think I didn't time it. And I'm not one of those guys like AEW guys that record the match lengths. I'm assuming that this was 50-50 commercials and actual wrestling.
It was,
correct?
because I watched it again this morning on Peacock, and the show itself was 3 hours long, but the replay on Peacock was an hour and a half. So 90 minutes of wrestling versus, actual screen time for the wrestlers. That's including like the Jesse the Body Ventura stuff and the pre-show and all that. That was 90 minutes total. So that means there's 90 minutes of commercials.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Like, you couldn't even get into a match. But nonetheless, with that said, this was a disaster, and I was like, oh gosh, this is going to be an awful weekend. But it turned out to be pretty good. So let's talk about it. First match of the night, we had Seth Rollins and Bron Breakker defeating CM Punk and Sami Zayn. Not in the way I thought. We had a nice surprise. We had one Bronson Reed come out, and I think everyone thought he was going to help Seth Rollins or go against them because that's what he did. And then they ended up kissing and hugging, and they all stood tall. And we have the third man in their Shield 2.0, which I hate because they're nothing like the Shield. So I don't know why people are doing that. But nonetheless, thumbs up, thumbs down. What did you think?
I'm going to go very, very fringe thumbs down. And here's why. This was probably a really good match. This might have been a great match. This might have been the greatest match in the history of professional wrestling. But we will never freaking know because of the amount of commercials that existed during this damn match. It made it so hard to get into it. It was, I think there were 3, maybe 4 commercial breaks alone during this match. It was ridiculous. And every time they came back, they were like doing something completely different than what they were. I mean, obviously they were wrestling during the commercial break, but it just took me out of it. It was just not. So this match could have been great, but the commercials just really, really took me out of it. The Bronson Reed thing, watching it for Saturday night's main event, I was kind of like, huh? Like, this doesn't make any. This is very random. Like, why is he helping Seth Rollins when the last time they're going to have to explain their way out of this one, which they did on Raw. But when I was watching it for the first time, I was just kind of like, this is strange. And then Sami Zayn took the pin, which I think that's why he was there. They were protecting CM Punk. So I go very, very fringe thumbs down. It was just random and then a lot of commercials.
I feel you on that. I had to pick something to be thumbs up. And since this had the Bronson Reed, which I had a different reaction, I actually enjoyed it. I also like how his tsunami, they were like, bro, you get one. CM Punk, you cannot injure CM. Because he probably rolled in like, how many do I get? Like 5, 6, or like one, motherfucker. You get one.
And even the crowd, the crowd who loved CM Punk was like, one more time. Dude. One more time. Like, it was, it was awesome.
Most over wrestler in the world. And even that soon, that's how over Bronson, because I saw a lot of people like, they were in my comments too, because I was excited about it. They're like, Bronson Reed is trash. Bronson Reed is dirt. I'm like, dude, that dude's move is over. When he does tsunamis, people love it. They are all for
100%.
it. Yeah. So I give it barely a thumbs up, but you are right. I probably watched about 5 minutes total time in this match. And the worst part was, like, every time I tried to get into it, I was like, oh shit, all right, commercial, cool. Thanks a lot, TKO. You love advertising. Yeah, it was a pretty bad night, but neither here nor there. I barely give it a thumbs up. I think WWE needs to start releasing hard cuts of these things where they show Saturday night's main event, no commercials, like, so we can actually watch and enjoy the match. Like you said, we'll never know if this match was good or not. So, or how good it could have been.
Really unfortunate too, and I think this match, we'll get into it, but I think this could have closed the show. But
yes, and speaking of unfortunate, we had a match that was put together the night before, and it showed Zelina Vega defended her U.S. Championship against Miss America herself, Chelsea Green. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Thumbs down. This was not a good match at all. We didn't even do predictions for this because they did it at the last minute. But yeah, I give this a thumbs down, primarily because there was one move in particular. There was that botched 619 that Zelina Vega hit, and it looked like it broke Chelsea Green's nose. Like, she was busted open after that, but it did not connect the way that it was supposed to. The crowd didn't really seem like they cared. So hopefully these women move on to bigger and better things and they do other things. But once again, the WWE continues to treat Chelsea Green like trash. She's not in Money in the Bank this year. I don't know what they're doing with her, but this match just wasn't it. And I'm hope we move on from this.
It really made me sad. Well, number one, Zelina Vega, She did whiff the 619.
She really did.
I think that move is harder than people, because Dom used to struggle with it too, and now he's kind of figured it out. I think that's a hard move. I think Ray makes it look so damn easy that it looks like anyone can kind of gravitate themselves around like that. I think it's harder than what it is. But the worst part about it was that she missed and she realized it. So she tried to like hit her with her foot to make it hit, and she just dead on kicked her in the freaking nose and busted her open. This match was 5 minutes. And in 5 minutes, she was able to kick her in the nose and bust her open. My thing is WWE, I get it. You want money. You want to have like as many commercials as possible. Then don't put this match on here. This was like them being like, hey, there's no women on here. We're going to get shit, right? And Triple H is like, yeah, we are. All right, let's put them on and give them, I don't know, 5 minutes. This was like WWE, like PG era, where we're like having these women like, you should have just thrown them in some bikinis and had them wrestle in mud. Like, what the hell are we doing here? And I'm not like the person who like, I saw all the female IWCers, which I'm not hating on, but like talking about how gross this was and this and that. I don't think it's that. They got put on the show. I just think, why put them on if you're just gonna embarrass them? Like, it's just this event was like the opposite of Double or Nothing, where Double or Nothing and AEW's problem is every match doesn't have to go 22 plus minutes. Every match on that card went 22 plus minutes. That's fucking unacceptable. That's not how life works.
It was like a 6
main
hour
events. Yes, main events in their prime heydays. WrestleMania were 20. That was like the prime. Now we get 22 minutes for Mark Briscoe and Ricochet. Get out of my face with that. So, but why are we having 5 minutes? If you're on a PLE or a pay-per-view, it needs to go at least 10 to 12 minutes. That's like the minimum, and the max is like 20, 25. That's how every match should be. Nothing should go longer or shorter. The end. I'm saying it, and it's fact. Let's move on. Thumbs down.
Let's do it.
All right. Oh, the match. Another match that went, what, like 7-8 minutes? We had John Cena defeating John Cena.
Ron Cena.
I think this was hip-hop John Cena. Get it? Because he's rapping and thugonomics, John Cena, whatever. I thought it was hilarious. Ron Cena, the picture on it. I thought it was gold. Thumbs up, thumbs down. What did you think of the match?
I'm actually going to give this one a thumbs up for what it was.
You would.
It was an entertaining match for what it was. I knew it wasn't going to be like an instant classic. I knew it. What we got is what I was expecting. R-Truth got some offense in. He even hit John Cena with the AA. Now, in my opinion, John Cena should not have kicked out of the attitude adjustment, because I've always said that if a wrestler hits your own finisher on you, why are you kicking out? And he kicked out with ease. Like, he was like 1-2 kick out. It wasn't even, there was no dramatic to it whatsoever. But I like that R-Truth came out dressed as John Cena. He came out to his music. There was at one point when R-Truth was making his entrance, it looked like John Cena was about to break character and like smile and crack up at it. And the camera.
Oh, he was smiling when he was coming out.
Yeah, the camera quickly panned away while he was back to the audience. But I do think, for the match itself, what we got was entertaining. R-Truth didn't get squashed, and he looked good in defeat. But I think this match continues to prove that John Cena's heel turn just is not working. The fans were chanting "Thank you, Cena" at the end. They were at one point they were chanting "You can't wrestle," and half of them were like, "Yes, you can." But other than that, this was a fun match for what it was. So thumbs up.
This match was everything I predicted it would be and what I wanted it to be, but I have to do thumbs down because it was under 10 minutes. I think we needed more of what they had. Ron Cena only had 10 seconds of true offense. That was it. It was the AA. John Cena then pretended like he was going to turn into a good guy, because there needed to be more. If even 3 or 4 more minutes of R-Truth trying to like build him to like overcome the dark side, like, and you know what I mean? I think would have been a little bit more, even like, I love you, John, come back to me, I know you're in there. They could have just done anything to have John, like, it was just kind of like, oh, you AA'd me? Oh, you dress like me? All right, I should be a good guy again. Gee golly, just kidding. Like, it was a little too quick for me. So that's the only reason. Thumbs down.
Yeah. Oh, I see that. I see it. Yeah.
All right. And the biggest shocker of the night, in my opinion, even though I don't know why it was, Damian Priest defeats Drew McIntyre, who, according to everybody on the internet, is now taking 7 years off of WWE in a cage match. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
I actually think this was match of the night. I give this thumbs up. I think was it the best cage match ever? No, but it was what it was. I give it thumbs down for Jesse the Body Ventura on commentary. Like, he was over the top annoying. Like, we get it. You can't. He was really pissed off about the fact that Damian Priest took the coward's way out and walked out to the cage door. Yeah. It was just really, really, like, we get, like, I can't stand it when they bring commentators on that clearly haven't been watching the product. AEW does this with Jim Ross all the time, and now WWE's doing it with like Jesse the Body Ventura. You could tell he hasn't watched WWE in a while, and this was it. Don't put him on commentary. He's fine as like the host with Joe Tessitore. Don't put him on commentary. But other than that, I thought the match was fine. I think Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest, they both of them have a tendency to turn chicken shit into chicken salad. And I think that I remember when this feud started, neither one of us were excited about it just because of the direction of Drew McIntyre's character. He's supposed to be hunting the bloodline, and here he is feuding with Damian Priest. But the matches have been good. Their match at WrestleMania was one of the best built matches that they've had. The build to this was really good with all the fighting they were doing on SmackDown. So I actually enjoyed this match a lot. Both of these guys are the best of what they do, and I think they gave us a fun cage match on Saturday night's main event.
I give it a thumbs up, but barely. And here's why. I do think it was the match of the night, but like I said, I thought all of these were thumbs down because we didn't see any of the matches. And this was another one that took a lot of breaks. But because of the ending and Jesse Ventura. For one, Jesse Ventura is fun. I like him. I like that he's doing it because he used to do it. I like him over at like you said, in the little circle where he's just talking, not on commentary. Damian Priest like knocked him out or whatever, and then stood there for what seemed like 3.5 days. And then he walked to the cage. And then he stood there for another, what seemed like 5.5 days.
The ground.
And then he walked out. I don't, what were you did you like, was that him supposed to go back to pundit? That was just confusing me. Secondly, Jesse the Body Ventura is from an era. So when he actually did commentary, when he wrestled, he was in an era where still cage matches, only way you could win was by going over the cage or out the door. Literally, pinfalls and submissions is a newer, past his time thing. What the fudge do you mean he took that? That's the only way you know, Jesse. So you're saying your era was weak then? Because your era, every cage match, that's how it ended. So are you saying they're all cowards? They're taking it was the stupidest commentary, and it took away from Damian Priest doing it. It made all of it just seem out of place. It was stupid, and I think after that they should knock him off because he's from that era. That's how cage matches were. There was never cage matches until like mid 2000s that you could pin or submit. That wasn't the point of a cage match. A cage match was you're gonna beat each other's asses, and whoever gets out is the damn winner. There was no pins, and that was never a thing ever. That was the fun of like trying to climb out. They've taken away from that, and I hate that. But to call him a coward for doing something you did during your time of a wrestler, out of my face with that.
And that's how you know he hasn't been watching, because Damian Priest is supposed to be the babyface in that situation. You're really supposed to be putting him over, but you kind of gave him the heel commentary treatment. And I get that he's a heel or trying to be a heel himself. It was just he just kept going on and on and on and on about it, and it was just so dumb. And it took the end. It took a lot of it. You could tell Michael Cole and Pat McAfee were getting annoyed with him too. They were like, "That's just part of the rules of a cage match." Like they were trying, but he just kept on talking about it. It was annoying. So stop with these celebrity commentators or these guest commentators on big shows like this. You can tell they don't watch.
No, he was like that Don Burt girl in NBA playoffs. It's like, you're just like, what are you talking about? You make no damn sense. Why are you commentating NBA? Anyway, all right, main event time. Jey Uso defeats Logan Paul for the World Heavyweight Championship earlier in the night. John Cena confronted Jey Uso and basically said, I'm going to cost you your title match later on tonight. I was very excited for it. He did. He came out. He put a beat down on Jey Uso. And your prediction, even though it was in the wrong match, Cody Rhodes comes out, makes the save, and we are getting a two-way of Logan Paul and John freaking Cena. You heard that correct? Logan Paul and John Cena will team up against Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes at Money in the Bank because they have to find a way to validate $800 tickets to get in. Thumbs up, thumbs down. What did you think?
This is just like the opener. Very, very fringe. Thumbs down, like on the fringe. I thought the match itself was good. The John Cena thing felt very, very random. It was a nice surprise seeing Cody Rhodes back. The crowd still loved him. So I was excited for that. But
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't know, just based on where the story's going, I was half expecting Travis Scott to come out, or I was half expecting somebody other than Logan Paul and John Cena teaming up. It was just, that feels like a very random pairing again, especially with everything going on and with The Rock and all that. Like, this story has just kind of gone all over the place. And then, it also goes to show that John Cena's heel turn isn't working, which we said in the R-Truth match, because
Mm-hmm.
you had to put him with Logan Paul to get him heel heat, because the crowd still wants to cheer for John Cena. So I thought the match between Jey and Logan was good. I think it was one of Jey Uso's better matches in a long time, but there was just a lot of stuff, all the shenanigans at ringside and everything just kind of took me out of it. So I'm going to go very, very fringe, thumbs down.
I'm going to go very fringe as well, thumbs down, only because I did like the Cody Rhodes return. It was a surprise at the fact that everyone thought if he would, it would come during R-Truth, and it didn't. And the fact that after everything went down, John Cena was like angry, and Logan Paul was like standing with him. And the whole time I was like, why is Logan Paul still standing there? You lost. And then Cody's like, you and Logan versus me and Yeats. And I was like, oh, all right, I'm down with that. I made a whole video about it. The reason why I give it, I mean, it is a fringe thumbs down, but I did like the fact that I said thumbs up. I meant thumbs down. Apologies. The thing that I did like, though, is because it all happened after the match, is that John Cena is getting cheered, as you said, in the John Cena R-Truth match. And he continues to get love and favoritism. How do you turn a person heel who people truly don't want to boo, right? Pair them up with Logan Paul. Pure freaking genius. I will tell you right now, he will not get cheered at Saturday Night's Main Event. The end.
Yeah.
That's it.
No,
He will get his ass booed out. And if he does it correctly, and maybe he helps Logan Paul get the win, maybe he puts out Jey Uso and says, Logan, pin him or something like that. It will turn him even more heel. They won't do that. But if they did and they were smart, that would get the crowd even more. If you really want John Cena, I don't think they want him to be heel. I think this came out of somebody's ass. But still, that's the way to do it. He'll finally get booed. There ain't going to be no let's go Cena. Cena sucks while he's paired up with Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Like, I'm saying it right now. So, yeah, I like that. I like that.
I like the
And
pairing.
it was a shocker.
It was a shocker. But very, very fringe thumbs down with the match.
I agree. The match was, once again, commercials ruined this whole event. All right, let's get through this Battleground. We got to get through it quick. Woo! Show me that picture again, bruh. Don't get me all in my feelings. All right, Sol Ruca defeats Kalani Jordan for the North American Women's Championship. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
I give this match a thumbs up. I enjoyed this match a lot. It was a solid opener. Sol Ruca, that finisher she hit, the Soul Snatcher right off the top rope at the very end.
Bro.
That looked vicious. That looks gnarly. I know it's a fantastic finisher, but the way she delivered it was awesome. This was a great way to open what I thought was a solid PLE.
Thumbs all the way up. Kalani Jordan was way better now than she was the first time they wrestled when she won the North American title by defeating Sol Ruca. Sol Ruca's Soul Snatcher is the best finishing move in all of pro wrestling. I will die on that. I think Sol Ruca is the best female wrestler in NXT. I will die on that. And that finisher, I don't think people understand how hard that is. That was also Kalani Jordan who helped that. But that move, man, that was the move of the night by far.
Yeah,
by far.
It kind of reminded me of like one of the RKOs out of nowhere. It came out. This came out of nowhere, and it was vicious, and it hit hard, and it won her the match. So it was fantastic.
Yeah, great shit. All right, the only match I've messed up on, and you got right. Briggs, Hank, and Tank defeat the Cullen. Thumbs up or thumbs down?
This very, very fringe thumbs down. I thought the match itself was. I thought it was good. It was enjoyable for a tag team match. I don't like the fact that the Culling lost, even though I predicted it. I think you're trying to build these guys up. You're trying to make them the next big thing in NXT, and you're having them lose in one of their first pay-per-views together. It didn't make any sense to me. But yeah, and I predicted Brooks Jensen would take the pin. But yeah, I thought it was a fun match, but I just didn't like the outcome.
I didn't think this outcome made sense. But this match was way better than I thought. I give it a barely thumbs up. I thought it was jam-packed, exciting.
Josh Briggs brought it, man. That moonsault.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I thought they all did. It was entertaining, man. I was like full into this match. This was one of the more, out of all these matches, I was into this one maybe more than anyone, just for entertainment purpose. So yeah, I give it a thumbs up barely, for sure. All right, Stacks, forget about it, huh? Defeated his former boss, Tony D, huh? Thumbs up or thumbs down, huh?
I give it a thumbs up. I thought this was a great match. I enjoyed it a lot. I did think at the very end, my only critique was I feel like there was too much focus on Luca Cristofino and Tony D'Angelo. It should have been more like he was just in the audience. Did he appear out
of thin air? Was he?
I don't
he
know.
Appeared out of, I swear they had a camera view on it, and then they moved and came back, and he was just like, "Hello, Tony."
Just staring there. But Stacks got the win, and I was like, okay, well, great, Stacks won, and now they're like focusing on Tony. I feel like that should have been Stacks' moment. That was his that was a huge win for him. I did like the teasing of like, oh, I'm sorry, I made a big mistake, please forgive me. And I like that Tony D didn't forgive him, and he was like, you made this bed, you have to lie in it. I like that Stacks was chanting things like, you're weak, I knew you were weak, this is why we did this. So the entire match was really, really entertaining. I just wish that the ending would have focused more on Stacks and less on Tony D and Luca Cristofino.
I fully agree with you. Stacks deserved that credit. And this match is a thumbs up, in my opinion. I thought it was awesome. And I think it showed it showed how good Tony D is, because Stacks looked a little nervous. He looked like he was pausing a little bit, like he wasn't sure of the timing with Tony D, and Tony D really carried him through it. And I think it made Stacks look like a freaking star. That entrance by Stacks too, he felt like somebody who could be somebody. I loved it. And Tony D, man, I know everybody's like Ricky Saints, which we'll get into later, needs to be the champion next. I still to this day Tony D needs to be the next NXT world champion. That dude is straight flipping money. I'm down with that. Yeah. All right. We're going to talk about this match, and then I'm going to bitch more later on in the show. But Stephanie, I don't care, Vaquer defeats one Jordynne Grace to defend her women's championship. Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Oh man, this is hard, but I'm gonna go thumbs down. This match just did not do it for me. And it wasn't so much Stephanie Vaquer. It was more. This was just not. I don't know. Jordynne Grace just didn't seem. I don't know. It was just something was off with her. I don't know if it was just like she knew she was losing, so she kind of was phoning it in, or what. But this was. I was expecting more from Jordynne Grace. So I give it a very fringe thumbs down, but this match just did not do it for me at all.
I get what you're saying. I still give it a thumbs up. I thought it was fun. I like that she looks like Sabrina Carpenter on steroids. Stephanie Vaquer is a straight star. I like that she's okay. Yeah. I like that she loves the fact that she has a nice booty and isn't afraid to show it off. And it's okay for me to say that, because since she's allowing it and wears a thong and Booker T enjoys it, I won't get critiqued by the internet world. Right, it's okay. She's okay. But if I just said somebody, she's also, around the high 20s. Yeah, I don't think she's that close to my age, but nonetheless, if I'm too far off, it's gross. But yeah, great match, fun stuff. I liked it, so I give it a thumbs up.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna say the wrong person won though. But we'll get into that later.
Yeah, it was a great match, but I don't know what was up with Jordynne Grace. I just didn't feel like she brought her best, and maybe they just didn't click or whatever. But something was up.
Yeah, sometimes people are off. All right. Obafemi defeated Miles Bourne to win the world championship. Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Thumbs way up. I thought this match over exceeded my expectations. I was kind of expecting it to be similar to the John Cena R-Truth match on Saturday Night's Main Event, where the underdog gets some offense in, but at the end of the day, he can't overcome the giant that is Obafemi. But Miles Bourne, man, he brought it. He looked like a star in this match. He got a lot of offense in. There were a couple of times where I thought, oh, they might actually have him beat the champion. So that's exactly what you want in a match, where you're on the edge of your seat the whole time thinking, this is actually going to happen. They're actually going to do this. And then Obafemi got the victory in the end. But it was a fantastic showing for Miles Bourne. I hope this is his coming out party and that they treat him like a star moving forward. But I give this match a thumbs up.
This is way thumbs up. Miles Bourne is a flipping star. The fact that he got this, hasn't really been in the spotlight, hasn't had these type of matches, and just showed out like that. And it shows how great Obafemi has become. Fantastic match. I'd watch this 100 times. Obafemi,
it was
big
great.
Time thumbs up. All right, another match I'd watch. I'm going to say it. but we'll get into it after. Trick Williams has defeated Joe Hendry to become the TNA World Champion. He basically stood over Joe Hendry and held up the title, and the president of TNA looked like he wanted to jump off a bridge. Thumbs up or thumbs down?
I give it a huge thumbs up. The fact that I know people are pissed that WWE is monopolizing again and all that jazz. No, it's part of a story.
Yes.
But Trick Williams is the rightful winner. It was a history-making night, and it was the right match to main event, and Trick Williams is the right winner. I'm curious to see what happens with TNA going forward with Trick Williams having the title. Because we won't talk about it when we get to NXT, but he's challenging Mike Santana next, and Mike Santana wants to save TNA from Trick Williams. So is that kind of the avenue they're going? What's next for Joe Hendry? So I feel like this pay-per-view did a really good job of getting us wanting to tune into NXT on Tuesday night, and getting us to want to tune into TNA on Thursday as well, to kind of figure out what they're going to do with their title. So this PLE did its job, this main event did its job, and it was a fantastic match and a fantastic showing for Trick Williams. So thumbs up.
This is thumbs all the way up, and it's the first time I've ever enjoyed Joe Hendry. I'm going to say it. Not because he lost, just because he showed out. Trick is a star. I'm sick of people online saying Trick isn't that dude. He's 100% that dude. And I love the fact that he held up the title, like literally standing above him. And I love that before they faded out, they had that camera shot of the TNA president, and he sold it perfectly. His disgust. They are 100% going that route. Trick Williams called it Trick NA. He's going to there to take over TNA, and everyone's going to try to beat him. He's going to defeat everybody until he loses to Joe Hendry, I think, Sacrifice or whatever their biggest pay-per-view is. When they get the comeuppance, it's going to do nothing but great things for both organizations. But they got to defend it on TNA too. His first defense is going to be on NXT. I don't like that. He needs to go on TNA because you need to bring the eyeballs there. NXT already gets the eyeballs, but I think they will. Huge win. And I'm going to say I love Double or Nothing, and we're going to talk about it this Friday, but I'm going to say it right now, and I don't give two shits. Double or Nothing was fantastic. I thought Battleground was better.
Yeah.
Just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Just throwing it out there.
Not a lot of useless fodder on
no
Battleground. There was some useless stuff on Double or Nothing.
Yes, there was. All right. Monday Night Raw, baby. We might have to cut one of these short, but let's see. Let's get into it. You ready? It's a jam-packed show, like you said.
Yeah, it was.
All right. It opened up with the person who I stated is the GOAT. Paul Heyman opened up a promo, and he basically praised the shit out of Bron Breakker, praised the shit out of Bronson Reed. Seth Rollins took over. Out came Sami Zayn and so on. And then later on in the night, Seth qualifies in the Money in the Bank by winning his match. And then they beat up CM Punk, or they all scuffle. But what did you think about this opening segment? And what did you think about the end with Seth qualifying for the Money in the Bank?
It was the right decision. All of it was good. And, I didn't care for the Bronson Reed thing on Saturday night's main event just because it didn't make sense, because the last time we saw Bronson Reed, him and Seth Rollins were feuding, and they were having, and they weren't just feuding. They were like fighting before they could even like get into the building. They were just brawling constantly. Every week on SmackDown, they feuded in Saudi. Everywhere they were going, they were fighting. But so I was like, they're going to have to explain their way out of this one. And I feel like Paul Heyman did a fantastic job explaining it. Making it make sense that, Seth Rollins was able to sacrifice himself for the future of this company and bring Bronson Reed over as part of the future of what he's trying to build for the WWE. One thing I did find interesting too is Paul Heyman was talking about Bron Breakker, and he was like, I see him main eventing WrestleMania 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, and 50. What about 42, 43, 44? So it makes me wonder, is this, what's going to happen there? Obviously, Seth Rollins is probably going to be main eventing there. But it was just I thought it was a great promo and a great way to explain how this all came together.
I mean, Bronson Reed brought it to Seth, beat him like no other man would beat him. Why would he not want him to be on his side? Pure genius, pure great booking. And Paul Heyman, the reason why I said he's the GOAT is that he can get anybody over. Anybody. Just the way he talked about Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed. I sent you some text that I will not repeat on this podcast. It is straight magical how well I was like watching. I rewatched it. I was like, I got to rewind. This is like masterful. It was just pure genius. Seth qualifying, I kind of have a problem with. I made a TikTok about this for those of you who don't follow me, which you should, my _wrestling_opinion, is that he's the only one right now who looks like, you're going to tell me right now Solo's going to win? You're going to tell me Penta's going to win? Penta almost murdered somebody. You're going to tell me that LA Knight is going to get out of here
He
with
beat
that.
Aleister Black on SmackDown.
He did. But you're gonna tell me that Seth, like, right, unless you add in CM Punk or somebody to distract him to give one of those guys a chance, I don't know. Him winning kind of made me go, uh-oh. Like the women's side is looking stacked. I'm like, who the hell's gonna win that? It could be anyone. The men's side, I'm like, well, there it goes. Seth Rollins, he's gonna take that belt, which I'm fine with. But we got to put someone in to make me believe he might not. Because right now with them four, I know what there's 3 more spots. I don't. You got to add in somebody, and I'll give them time. But as of right now, that was my only downfall. That I was like, well, now Seth's gonna win this. This is obvious.
Yeah,
I could be wrong. But
we'll see. But I see your point there, and I think right now the men's side is looking very, very weak, so they need to stack it up a little bit more. But what you were saying about Paul Heyman, man, like, you know what he was, the other thing he did is he got the crowd to turn on Seth Rollins in that very segment where, they came out and they were cheering him, they were singing his song, and Seth Rollins even made mention of it. Like 5 minutes ago, you guys were just cheering me, and you want to make me out to be the bad guy. Then they're swearing at him and using profanity at him, all because of one Paul Heyman talking about Roman Reigns, talking about Bron Breakker coming from a bloodline of badasses. It was just fantastic stuff. He was able to get Seth Rollins the heel heat that he's been missing since he's turned heel at WrestleMania, and now he finally got it.
I agree fully. So it's like, and this crew is popping, man. It's nice to see Paul Heyman with someone other than Roman and Brock Lesnar and CM Punk. It's a nice change of pace. All right, something that wasn't a fan. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, before we move on, I do think they need to come up with a name for the group, and they need to come up with a theme song. They don't need to come out with Seth Rollins' music every single time. But other than that, it's good stuff.
Agreed. All right, Liv Morgan is back, baby. She interrupted Roxanne Perez, feeding Dami some nuggies and massaging his shoulder, kind of, I guess. And then she loses to Kairi Sane later on, but blames Raquel Rodriguez. Judgment Day, I'll let you start. What did you think? It's nice to see Liv back, though.
Yeah, Liv, I'm glad she's back. Yeah. Why are we doing this? This is exactly what happened with this is exactly what happened with Rhea. This is exactly like and then not only that, but Dirty Dom also slid the chair in to Finn in the main event, and
he
didn't quite get it to where Finn could reach it. It was like he did that. That's exactly what happened. How Becky Lynch beat Rhea Ripley in Saudi Arabia last year at King and Queen of the Ring. It was just like, why are we just like stuck in repeat mode over and over with the Judgment Day? Like, you're just replacing Rhea Ripley with Liv Morgan. Now you're replacing Liv Morgan with Roxanne Perez. Constant tension in the group, and I don't know. Like, Judgment Day was cooking there for a little while, and now I'm just like, I don't know what we're doing. They gotta figure something out.
Yeah, I made a post about it, and people in my comments are like, yeah, but live in this and that and this. I'm like, I don't care which way it goes. We could do it without doing the same exact. This is literally Roxanne Perez is Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan is Rhea Ripley. It's like the same. Rhea Ripley was gone. She came back. Some other girls. It's like through the nuggets, massaging, touching. I'm like, what? We have tag team champs. Now you're going to have Liv and Raquel break up. They're the tag team champs. They haven't even been defending them. Let them defend them. Dom finally has an IC championship, and and then everybody's like, yeah, but Finn's so funny. He's laughing. He's manipulating. He was doing that time. It's all the same. This is literally, this was like 6 months ago. We're already, gosh, what? I'll let it cook. But come on, man. Come on, Trips. You can't come up with the new ideas. I'm okay with stealing ideas years ago. 6 months, 5 months. When was this? It wasn't that long ago. And you're like WrestleMania. Like, what the?
Yeah, I think that's the problem. My biggest problem right now with Triple H is I feel like he's telling a lot of the same stories at the same time. Like John Cena wants to ruin wrestling, so here's Cody Rhodes to come back and save wrestling from John Cena. Trick Williams wants to ruin TNA, so let's send some people from TNA to save TNA. And now you have the Judgment Day story kind of repeating itself over and over, and you have all these tag teams bickering at the same time. So it's very, very strange right now.
I agree. All right, Lyra Valkyria, the IC Women's Champion, had a promo with one Becky Lynch. I thought I had some highs, thought I had some lows. I guess I'll start. You started the last two. So Becky came out and basically she dogged Lyra's ugly boyfriend and basically said, I went home and hooked up with my sexy husband or whatever, and you went home with your ugly faced boyfriend to the hospital. And she made a good little comment saying like, well, that sexy boyfriend of yours is the only thing good about you, which was a good line. I liked it. I thought this was Lyra's best promo. I thought Becky had another, dude. People were mad at me saying she's one of the best promos ever. She is. But then we had stipulations happen. And she said, if I lose to you, Lyra, I will never again go for the IC championship. Fantastic. We get that all the time. That happens, this and that. So then I'm like, oh yeah, what's going to happen next? Let's hear the other stipulation. And if I beat you, you have to raise my hand. In my head, I heard, whoop, whoop. Like, what the fuck? I was like, all right, well, thanks for ruining that. Still excited for the match. I think Becky's going to win. But nonetheless, like, what in the yikes? Adios, mios.
Yeah, like the promo and everything was great. I'm usually not a fan when they take this cheap shots at each other and like the shots at their husbands and stuff like that. But it didn't bother me so much when these two women did it for some reason. Mainly because they quickly shifted and went right back to the match.
Yeah.
Whereas Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair were going at it.
No.
Well, he was in my DMs and he was doing this and what's going on backstage? It was just very, very that was different. But this is like, okay, like we had our fun. Now let's go back to focusing on the match. So I didn't mind it so much then. But yeah, the stipulation is stupid. It was very, very dumb. And what's the big deal about her raising her hand? Like she can raise her hand and then still attack you. Like, no big.
100%.
It's so stupid. Yeah.
I think it pretty much solidified that Becky's going to win because then Lyra can then go at her again. There's no like you know what I mean? So I think that's what they were getting at. We're going to do one more, but I say we skip it because NXT, we're going to talk a lot. Let's get into some NXT. You ready? Sorry.
Sure. Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
all right.
Go for it, man.
We opened up hot. We closed hot, I guess. I think we're going to talk a lot about this, but Ethan Page defeated Ricky Saints for the North American title to open the show. I'll let you go. Let's hear it.
This one really surprised me. I did not see this coming, considering what we got at Battleground, where Ethan Page got a backstage interview with the interviewer, and Ricky Saints got the in-ring segment with the interviewer, basically doing the same thing. And yes, Ethan Page came out and they brawled and everything, but it was like the bigger moment was for Ricky Saints, and then for Ethan Page to come on to NXT and beat him in the opener, it was pretty shocking. And Ricky Saints didn't hold that belt very long, so I feel like they're kind of passing that North American Championship around like hot potato right now, and they need a good person to hold that title for a while. I think Ethan Page can be that guy. So I didn't hate the decision, but it did really surprise me, especially with it being Ricky Saints.
Yeah, I'm all for it. The match was a little confusing at first. Them brawling had the referees and people. It's a match. I was very confused on why they kept trying to stop them from wrestling.
Yeah, it was weird.
Just let them. They're having a match, but nonetheless, once it got going, it was a hell of a match. Ethan Page winning doesn't upset me because the dude's a star. He wasn't utilized in AEW properly, and that's not AEW's fault. He came to NXT, won the championship, and he's pretty much been the best heel of NXT in quite some time. He's fantastic. I think he deserves it. My only thing is Ricky Saints losing. I've seen people chatter about how, well, he's going to go for the heavyweight championship. Oh, he's going to go to SmackDown or Raw. I don't care. You still needed to build him more. Not everybody knows who Ricky Saints is.
No.
And
you
had him have the North. Yeah. Like, let him have it for 5 months, build his character. He defended it never. Have him like build himself up, then have Ethan Page take it. I think, which we'll talk about next too, is that HBK right now is like quick on the draw. He's very shock value TV instead of building up people and characters. And that's what kind of got me bugging, because the next thing we're going to talk about, people have the same theory on why it's happening, and I also don't agree with it. You can get to this point, but build the stars up first, because even if Ricky tries to go for the title, I don't think he's been pushed enough on the NXT brand to go for that yet. It was a weird thing, but nonetheless, Ethan Page winning is fine. I just thought maybe 3 months from now would have been a little bit better.
Yeah, and especially with, I think this was Ricky Saints' only defense, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe he had one on like TV, but it was just he just got there not too long ago, and He's already won a title and dropped it. Like, he's not built enough to go for the Obafemi and Trick Williams and those guys. He's not quite on that level yet.
I agree. All right. Jessie Jane defeats Stephanie Vaquer for the women's championship to close out the show. Stephanie Vaquer wrestled Jordynne Grace 2 days beforehand against a wrestler who is probably the greatest TNA women's knockouts champion of all time. Came in with a ton of momentum. You had her get pinned clean 2 nights before to then have Stephanie Vaquer drop it to Jessie Jane on NXT television. Jessie Jane, I love. I'm a Toxic Attraction fan. I have 2 shirts. I have a hat. I love them. You know I love them. We had our first ever podcast episode when Mandy left, and it was the end of Toxic Attraction, and we were talking about them, and then she dropped in mid-show. We didn't know. But Jessie Jane was second fiddle. She then creates a group called Fatal Attraction, correct? Fatal Attraction, right?
Fatal Influence.
Or Fatal Influence, apologies. Fatal Attraction's a movie. Fatal Influence. And she is second fiddle to Henley Fallon. And she has not been really seen or talked about really at all. Last week, she slapped Stephanie Vaquer in the face, or was it at Battleground, I believe? I think it was 2 days ago. She earns a title shot and beats Stephanie Vaquer. Make it make sense.
Just beat Jordynne Grace 2 days.
Make it make sense. The internet's saying it's because Stephanie Vaquer is going to the big show, so it's okay. Make it make sense, please.
I can't. I don't understand why you had Jordynne Grace lose if you're just going to have, you could have had Jordynne Grace versus Jessie Jane. You could have done so many different. You could have protected Stephanie Vaquer a little bit more. This looked. I don't know. The shock you stuff has got to stop. I mean, it's fun every now and again, but it is. I am getting over it. Even the ring announcer looked shocked. The commentators were shocked. You could see fans just like, oh my God, like they were shocked. It was just like you said. That's all they were trying to do is they're trying to get shock value. And I don't see her holding the title very long. I wouldn't surprise me if she dropped it next week or the week after back to Stephanie Vaquer, and then that would make everything even more pointless than ever before. But would not surprise me one bit if that's the route they go. But this was just for complete and utter shock value. Nothing more and nothing less.
And I think it hurts everybody. For one, Stephanie Vaquer, yes. Does she deserve to be on Raw SmackDown? Sure. Is she going to make it? Is she going to make it? Who the F knows? Because if I know anything right, the last women's match I saw on a PLE had 5 minutes of airtime. And if last time I remember, women get forgotten on the big brand.
Look at
so you have
Roxanne Perez and Julia for the last couple of months.
How are they doing? How are they doing? I mean, Roxanne is at least trying to get into Judgment Day. But, like, nonetheless, they don't get the time. Stephanie Vaquer gets all the time on NXT as a women's champion. She hasn't been that champion that long. Why not let her freaking cook? You just had her win both belts at once, and now you're just going to have her just lose to Jessie Jane? Jessie Jane, who I love, who I think deserves to be a champion. She's put in the work. She's talented. She is that girl. And you have her win it this way with no story being built? Build her the freak up. If you wanted Stephanie Vaquer to lose the title, have her lose to Jordynne Grace 2 nights ago. That feels special. Build Jessie Jane up right now and then have Jessie Jane beat her for the title. That's built. This is taking away from everybody. It takes away from Stephanie Vaquer, and it takes away from Jessie Jane's big moment because now people don't care. People aren't invested in it because she wasn't built correctly beforehand. I love Shawn Michaels. He's my GOAT, but this was an awful decision. Awful.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I don't care. It was not good. Yeah, and because I slapped Stephanie Vaquer in the face. That's not a story. That's not building somebody. Like that's the only reason she got the title match in the first place, and that's not building somebody to become a champion. Like you need much more than a stupid slap in the face to get a title on your waist. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens going forward for sure.
I agree. All right, let's get the show on the road. That was a good week for WWE nonetheless. As always, continue to tune in, and we'll do AEW on Friday. Do we got a song for True or False?
No songs.
Gotta remember. No, we do. No
got
song.
One coming. All right, but not right now.
All right. True or false, y'all? This is where we're gonna ask each other a couple things, and we'll say if it's true or false. Ryan, let's go.
All right, I got a couple here, but I'll give you this one. Seth Rollins or the Seth Rollins faction. They will add at least one more wrestler to the group to make them a foursome instead of a trio.
True.
Oh, I forgot it. Here we go.
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
And it's going to be Becky Lynch. You need a female in the faction. Becky Lynch has been a Paul Heyman girl. I'm saying it's going to be Becky Lynch. I think it makes
She
sense.
mentioned
She's already
her
the
hot
heel.
husband. Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
going to be
I
Becky
can see it.
Lynch, especially when she wins that title and joins up with them. So yeah, I'm going to go Becky Lynch. But they're going to join either
Yeah.
way. Somebody else. It's not just going to be the three.
Yeah, especially if they want to get rid of the Shield comparisons, they need to add a fourth person. And I still think it should be Sami Zayn. I think Sami Zayn should get fed up with losing. to
He's
a
my
point
male
where
version. Yeah.
He ends up joining the group to the point of desperation.
I think that's the more likely option. Yes. All right. Are you ready? With all the
Yeah, go for
nonsense
it.
of Judgment Day, in the end, Liv Morgan and Daddy Dom will leave and turn babyface.
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
I think that's the only thing that makes logical sense. Otherwise, it is a complete repeat of the story from last year where Dirty Dom cheated. He turned on Rhea to get with Liv. Now he's going to turn on Liv to get with Roxanne. I feel like they've had enough of Finn Balor and his shystiness. I feel like this is the only thing that makes logical sense. I think Dirty Dom, Raquel Rodriguez, and Liv Morgan are going to split away from the Judgment Day and kind of start their own little thing and become baby faces.
And do Judgment Day stay intact? Finn's the leader now, and he runs it with Roxanne and Raquel and Carlita.
I think so. I think Finn needs something to do, and I think they need to move the Judgment Day or whatever the Finn Balor-led group to SmackDown because we can't have Seth Rollins' group on Raw and the Judgment Day on Raw. You're going to have to move them to a different brand so they can take over that show as well.
Agree. I also think it's true. I think Dom's finally getting the love he deserves, and Liv will forever get cheered. Look at her. So yeah. Daddy Dom and Liv Morgan, keep them the same though. Do not turn them into the baby faces. Let them be who they are as baby faces.
Absolutely.
All right. What you got for me?
All right. Let's go with this one. So Trick Williams, he will have at least a 6-month reign as TNA World Champion.
When's Sacrifice? When's their big one?
October, I think, or Bound for Glory.
Bound for Glory is their big one. Yeah. When is that?
Yeah. October, November.
All right. So true.
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
I think if they're trying to do this correctly, he'll have it and beat everybody up on the roster until Joe Hendry gets the comeuppance at Bound for Glory on the biggest stage of them all. Yeah. And wins back the right of TNA. Yeah. So that was an awful accent. But yeah, I say true. For sure.
All right. Yeah, I think it's true too. I think for this to mean something, he can't lose it to Mike Santana next week. He's got to hold on to it for a long period of time.
Yeah, he's not losing to Mike Santana. All right, but good for him finally getting some WWE airtime. All right, so the news around the world right now is that WWE is continuing to match dates up with AEW pay-per-views, and the AEW fanboys are up in arms. So, true or false, WWE matching the same dates as other AEW pay-per-views is a petty move. True or false?
Oh, it's true.
Oh, you're going with petty.
Hang on.
All
Hang
right.
False.
I think it's true and false. I think it is a petty move because they constantly say, we don't have competition. We're only competing against ourselves. They don't see AEW as competition, but yet they're seriously, like literally booking shows the same exact, like WWE Evolution, the new pay-per-view for the women is the day after All In, and they're doing NXT Great American Bash the same day as AEW All In, and we've known the date for All In for the last year or so. So that's not a coincidence. So for them to say that they don't see competition and yet they're booking shows the same day as AEW, that is a petty move. But at the end of the day, I don't think they're doing it because AEW is on that same day. I think they're doing it because, they believe in this every 2 weeks we got to have a special event, and that's just kind of how the timing works out. So I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's a little bit of pettiness, but I also think it's a little bit of, they're just trying to draw an audience, and I think they know that people are going to be watching, like you said earlier, people are going to be watching All In, so let's draw that audience over to NXT as well.
I think that's exactly why they're doing it. I think it makes sense, especially putting NXT on the WrestleMania show of AEW. So I think it's false. I don't think they're petty at all. I think they're just smart businessmen, dude. Why did Nitro go against Raw? What was the main idea? If we make competition,
Ratings.
you're going to watch one or the other. Ratings, right? Because it gets people involved. It gets people knowing this is on. I don't think people know when Battleground's going to be on TV. You guess what? Now they do. Maybe that women's evolution, a lot of men who are like, I don't want to watch girls wrestle unless it's for this and that, didn't know when it was going to be on. Well, you know what? Now they do. And you got to remember, women's wrestling, NXT, they're very similar to the AEW vibe. NXT Battleground was like an AEW episode. It was a jam-packed, fast-paced, nothing but matches type of card, just like AEW does their pay-per-views. WWE, Friday, SmackDown, and Raw are two different things, right, compared to NXT. So I think it's a smart idea. I think AEW fans will watch all out, and then they will go, or all in, and then they'll tune in afterwards and go on Peacock and watch NXT Battleground. So or not Battleground, Great American Bash. So I think it makes sense.
And I think it's beneficial it's beneficial for WWE too, because they have the Peacock thing. They know that AEW, you still have to pay $50 to get their shows. So I think they're taking advantage of that a little bit. So, but I do think it's petty in the fact that they're like, we don't have competition, but yet they're literally booking the shows the same day as the competition. So to try to take their viewers away. So I do think that they're petty in that regard, but they're not doing it to, we're going to put them out of business and we're going to show them, that's petty in my opinion, or we're going to take all of their viewers. No, you're not. But
they're not. No.
So it's both true and false in my opinion.
All right. Well said. And that's coming from a new AEW nut hugger too, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Let's get into our weekly segment, and that is our LVD and MVD, where we will pick the least valuable and most valuable dude or dudette of the week of WWE. That includes Raw, NXT, Saturday Night's Main Event, and Battleground. So, as always, this doesn't mean we hate or love them. It just means we think they were the best or least booked of the week. Ryan, who is your LVD?
I hate to do it, but it's my ginger brethren, Sami Zayn. I feel like this man is constantly taking L after L after L. He got pinned at Saturday Night's Main Event. He lost the Money in the Bank qualifying match. No, he didn't get pinned. Finn Balor took the pin, but he still was in that match, and he's not in the Money in the Bank. He didn't win. I feel like Sami Zayn really hasn't done much in 2025. I mean, he was eliminated by Jey Uso in the Royal Rumble. He lost to CM Punk in the Elimination Chamber qualifying match. He lost to Kevin Owens at Elimination Chamber. Didn't have a match at WrestleMania. Didn't do anything at Backlash. Now he's on Saturday Night's Main Event. And and he took a loss. He took a loss on Raw. I don't know what they're doing with Sami Zayn right now. He just feels, maybe it's all part of the story. There's still the whole Karrion Kross thing too, where he's dealing with him later and he's not in the mood for his mind games. But right now, like the way the Sami Zayn character is going, I think he's getting a little stale as a babyface. He needs to turn heel. He needs an edge to him. We need a reason to care about him. And the fact that he's taken L after L after L has taken a lot of the care out of it. Like I'm starting to kind of not care about Sami Zayn anymore, because it almost feels like a guaranteed win for the opponent. So Sami Zayn gets my LVD this week.
Damn, I like the Twin Brothers fight. I know. I mean, that's a good pick. I fully agree with you, and that's why I think he will join Seth, because a heel turn is the only thing that's going to save him right now. All right, mine go a different route, and mine are Zelina Vega and Chelsea Green equally, and not because of them, but for the fact that they put them on TV defending a title that should be respected and loved, and they gave them 5 minutes. And that's probably why some things weren't clicking and things were off, because they had to hurry up and rush it and didn't have much time. And I think it's a joke and a shame, because Zelina Vega and Chelsea Green are both humongously great people, wrestlers, can do great things, and that's what you do to them. I didn't like it at all. Why don't you just give them another smack? It's for shame. So I say they're my LVDs, and not for any reason of their part. And I'm not counting the 619 botch or what I'm saying. It's not their fault. They just are the way they were booked.
Yeah. The disrespect for Chelsea Green continues. Like, why is she not in the money? Like, I wanted her to win the Money in the Bank briefcase last year, and this year she's not even in the match. It makes no sense whatsoever. So I don't understand what they're doing with Chelsea Green and her character, because she's super over it. She's super popular. Then Zelina Vega, man, she's fantastic as a U.S. champion. But she just needs more to go off of, and they need more time. So this was, that match was not a good match at all. And it's no disrespect to them.
No. All right. Let's end it on a high note. Who's your MVD of the week?
feel like there's only one logical choice here, and it's none other than Trick Willie on NXT, the new TNA World Champion, Trick Williams. I mean, the fact that he's the first ever WWE star to hold the TNA title, it's pretty incredible. I mean, considering like the history that TNA has, considering that people like AJ Styles came from there, that Jordynne Grace came from there. Jordynne Grace defended the NXT Women's Championship on TNA or the TNA Women's Championship on NXT television rather, and she lost. Like it's just very like the fact that Trick Williams is the first ever person to hold first ever WWE star to hold a TNA title in the year 2025. This is something that Vince McMahon would have never in his wildest dreams would have ever allowed. And it's happening right now right before our eyes. It just shows that they think the world of Trick Williams, that he has a bright future ahead of him. And I don't think he needs to go to the main roster. I think he just needs to continue cooking in NXT right now. He's doing his damn thing, and he needs to go on. He does need to go to TNA television with the title, though. He needs to show up there more often than pay-per-views. He needs to be on there every Thursday with the belt and continuing this tweener character that he's on, because it feels like he's so super over, even though he's kind of more of a heelish gimmick. But Trick Williams is the MVP of the week.
I was gonna pick him, but I knew you would, so I'm going with one, keeping it in the females, Jacy Jayne. I mean, how can you not pick her? She literally had no right to be in that match, no right to win it, and she did. And whether I think it's disrespectful to her first ever reign, because I think she deserves a women's championship just in a different route. Hopefully they do her justice, which I don't think they will. But nonetheless, she won it. This moment will never be forgotten by her. And hopefully it leads to bigger and better things. So yes, Jacy Jayne defeating Stephanie Vaquer, who was looking like she was going to be the greatest NXT women's champion of all time. Look like she was on that route to lose. Yeah, that's a big deal. So yeah, Jacy Jayne has to be my MVD of the week.
That's a good pick. That's a good pick. And you know, you could throw Ethan Page up there as well for beating Ricky Sane.
100%.
There's a lot of good people to choose from. But yeah, Jacy Jayne, 100%. As much as we didn't like the outcome, I think she deserves the championship reign. So hopefully they do her justice.
I agree. All right. That's it for Two Dudes with Attitudes, the WWE edition. We will be on AEW this Friday. Check us out, because we'll talk all things Collision, Dynamite, and Double or Nothing. Or maybe just Double or Nothing and Dynamite. Either way, we'll be talking.
We already did Collision for last
week. We did. That's right. We did it off because it was early. So yes, Double or Nothing. I'm getting old, man. Double or Nothing and Dynamite, which is on tonight. With that said, don't forget to subscribe, hit that 5-star review, give us some comments, give us some love, tell people about us if you truly like what you are hearing. We hope you are. Give us that love. As always, you just want to hear me talk, because I ain't getting shit worth of views anymore either. Hit me up at my_wrestling_opinion. I give honest reviews if you like to hear them, and they're not sugar-coated or trying to get WWE or AEW to pay attention to them. They're just honest opinions. Hit that up and give me a follow. And as with me, as always, is
at Ryan Enjoys Wrestling on all the social media platforms. Go follow me there. Go follow us on YouTube at Two Dudes with Attitudes. Go follow us on X at Two Dudes PC. Follow us on Instagram at Two Dudes with Attitudes Podcast, and go follow our TikTok at Two Dudes with Attitudes as well. But you know, we're also on audio and Spotify, so in Apple and everywhere you get your podcast. So go leave us a 5-star rating and review. Tell everyone about your favorite two dudes on the internet. Help us blow up, because I'm ready to take this thing to the next level.
Let's do it. Two Dudes Wolfpack. We out.
Two dudes with attitudes, let's go. It's the two dudes and the attitudes, ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. The 5-star broadcast shit, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all E. The two dudes with the attitudes to bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on time to lie.